What is going on, guys? I'm Caden from TC Live, and I am joined today with the man, Tyler Grayson. What is up, brother?
Hey man, I'm good. What's up with you?
Nothing much, dude. So I do want to start off by asking. So
Yes.
your match with Chris Killian,
Hey.
what what was your thoughts going into that?
I mean, the thing is with when you're going in with someone that you've already been with it's not as intense or crazy.
Hmm.
Like I haven't been in many uh matches with him, but it clicked real easy with Chris, even though I'm not a big fan of him, honestly. But as it was shown, like the better man won in that, and when you really think about it, 2 out of 3 falls match, you got multiple things you have to think about and consider when you're going up against someone with his caliber. And all I did was just keep my mind straight. I fumbled a couple times, but went in, came out on top.
Awesome, dude. Cause I was there at that match, and I loved the table spot. That was awesome.
Thank you, thank you. I'm glad.
And like every show that you've been at that I've been to, the crowd just goes crazy, dude. It's awesome. Is that at
Yeah,
every
it's
show?
it's I won't like say, I'm the star of a lot of shows because I'm not, or like I've seen the reactions with the crowds. They vibe with me. They get real into what I do because I try to just bring about my personality through what I do, and it seems like my personality clicks with a lot of people. Honestly, the match you saw, that was probably the biggest night of fan reaction. Like I actually got to talk with them, got a nice little cheer going where I say Grayson, they said Nation back to me, and I didn't even have to set that up. The crowd themselves did that. By those like the kids are what sell it for me. Like they really get into enjoying me, and that's what made it all very special. That was probably a peak moment for me. Is very like there was a lot of euphoria with that. And it's something I was always trying to push, but I could never figure it out. But then the kids did it for me. So that's what I love about it.
I mean, I was gonna say during that match, whenever they were chanting "Grayson Nation," it was stuck in my head. I won't lie to you. Whenever on the ride home, dude, it was just playing in my head, dude.
It writes itself.
It's so
It's just
catchy.
it's catchy, it's iconic, and
Exactly.
it's more unique. Like you got your Austin 316s, you got your Rocky chants, and you got the Grace Nation. It just rolls off the tongue nice.
Exactly, dude. So now I do want to ask you, what was the biggest like place you've wrestled in?
I mean, that's very hard to say because
Hmm.
any place I go to, I always enjoy it no matter what. Even if it's in front of 1, 2, 0 fans, like any company that I've been with, I've there's been ones that I've been trying to get into. But honestly, that's so hard to even answer. Like I guess if I want to stay loyal to where I started, it would be Keystone State Wrestling Alliance.
Okay.
Um, but as far as anything like that, like the places I go to, 814 Wrestling, that's the newest place I've been introduced to besides Pro Wrestling Cheap Shots, where you saw me, Mon Valley Pro, Route 33 out in West Virginia, Route 33 Wrestling. They're all so amazing. I could not tell you which place is I just can't. I enjoy it, all of it so much. It's so hard.
So now I do want to ask, how long have you been wrestling for?
It's been over 3 years.
Okay.
Not that long.
I mean, like in the 3 years that you've been in it, I mean, in my opinion, this year has been massive for you.
It really has. Yeah. It started really picking up last year, like around this time, and I've just been really driving and just going with it, and it's been paying off, and it's something I really hold dear and appreciate.
So what did get you into wrestling? Like, were you just flipping through the channels one night, or?
Yeah, like when I go back to like my first thoughts of it was honestly back when I was like probably like 5 or 6, back when they had, VHSs and stuff like that. My mother had all these like taped episodes back when the Attitude Era was going on, and you had like your Stone Cold Steve Austin, your Rock, the whole ECW, WCW versus WWF at the time, and I just really loved watching it. I loved the entertainment, the drama of it. I always, for some reason, when I was a kid, I always thought like if I replayed it again as a cassette, I could like change the outcome of it, even though you couldn't. But I was real silly with it. But no, I just loved it. Like it really clicked with me, and I wanted to get into it as fast as I could. And my only regret is I didn't try to get into it as soon as like I turned 18. But I just always clicked with it. It was always in my mind. I always loved watching it, and I just wanted to be a part of it in any way I could.
I was gonna say you can't be that old. You look about what, 23?
I'm not 25. I'm not that old. I just feel like, man, I really want to jump on it. I would have been doing it at 18 if I had the chance.
No, dude, I understand that. Now, like, what was your favorite wrestler growing up, though?
Oh, Austin, easy,
I mean,
easy.
I don't blame you for that one.
It was a hard pick for a while. I liked Jeff Hardy. I liked Dwayne. I was a fan. I was a fan of the Hurricane. I liked him too. It very hard to say.
So Austin's your defined answer for right now.
As of for right now, definitely defined. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So would you say he's your dream opponent if you could?
Honestly, like when I think of like dream opponent or someone I'd just be so interested in with like while he is up there and he is my favorite, I'd have to say maybe like either Eddie Guerrero, honestly, or
Ooh.
like RVD. I really liked those two. Like I liked Austin as my like favorite overall, but like the way those two conducted themselves was always fun to me.
I was gonna say I could see like a dream match between you and Shawn Michaels.
Oh, Shawn Michaels, he was up
That
there
one would
too,
go.
yeah,
That
for
one would
sure.
go.
Oh yeah.
That one would feed families.
Oh, and their families.
Exactly, dude. Um, so like now, who's your favorite wrestler currently? If you do watch wrestling, like AEW,
I'd
WWE.
peep. Yeah, I'd peep both of them. I would have to say currently right now, I am kinda on board with um Rhea Ripley.
Okay.
I like her. I know a lot of people out there were like, "Why he chose a female wrestler?" You're like, no, like you gotta understand, like they these women are like
They're tearing it
doubling it
up
up
right now.
now. They are like the whole Judgment Day storyline is like my favorite so far. Like it was a lot. And like if I even wanted to pick like different companies and stuff like AEW, like you could go with like the people that have joined there because of their reputation. You could go like Edge, the Hardys, and all them. But I'm having a good pick with MJF.
Ooh.
MJF. I hate him. I hate the fact that I love him, and I love the fact that I hate him.
I was gonna say back to the Rhea Ripley thing. Like my heart dropped whenever Dom like fell out of that cage. Did you?
Oh yeah, that was spooky. I was like, oh,
I was like,
of
no way,
course,
he
of
was just
course.
gonna fall out of the cage.
I was scared for him, but I was like, man, I hope they planned it because I knew like I mean, he was gonna break out of that jail.
Mm,
He's been to jail. He knows what prison's
exactly.
like.
Could you do that spot?
Oh man, I if I couldn't like do more, I would have done that exactly. I'd be like, well, can I like actually just fall out of it? Like,
Dude,
like I don't need harness. Like it's 15 feet. I think I'll be fine.
I was gonna say on concrete. I mean, I guess there is padding, but
I no, like obviously, you gotta fall the safety you can. They did the hardest for a reason.
Yeah.
Like I'd probably I'm real stupid when I think of like ways to entertain and that. Like I think of these outrageous things. Like there's been times where I said, "Oh, I could just do this, do it out of the ring, onto the floor, and then maybe someone can just, catch me." And people are like, "That's literally insane. Don't do that." I'm like, "No, you're right. You're right after the fact." It's like you get in the mode and you're just like, "Oh, I want to be unique. I want to be outstanding. I want people to not expect something." And then like because it's so that dangerous, like back when like you had, Jeff Hardy flipping off of like these scaffolding things, or Shane when he'd take his ridiculous dives, like those were the big impact things, like, oh my God, like that's what it was. And that's anytime like I have the chance to like think of something outrageous, I'll always think it, and I'll like always say it, and in the moment I'm like, no, it's fine, but like after I could be like, okay, thank God I didn't do that.
But I mean, what has been like the most like dangerous thing you've done like in a wrestling match?
Oh man, like the most dangerous is honestly probably either you could look at it like I haven't done anything so much to the point, like I said, I've been stopped, or like I realized like it was that like not okay to do. But like I've had ideas where like I'm dangling off of like fire truck the ladders, or like I'm diving onto like just tables of mass destruction. But then, your brain kicks in, is like, that honestly would just be pretty dumb. And I'm just like, yeah, but in the moment I think it would be pretty cool.
It
And
would
I
get the
know there's
fans to
gonna be the
pop.
time. Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely. If I know like either I don't get talked down or I don't talk myself down, when I'm in the moment, I'm gonna do it if I want to do it. Like I've had ideas where I'm just diving onto pure concrete and just gotta pray that, I'm landing on the person and doing it as safe as I can. But then you get talked down. The most dangerous stuff, honestly, would probably be dives over the rope onto the outside, where it's not just, like carpet or something. Like it's been that, or doing like trick moves over ladders. Um, Probably because like I misfoot my step, now I'm going through the metal ladder or stuff like that. As of right now, those are probably the most, but nothing too insane yet.
Yet. So now I do want to ask you. So, Pro Wrestling Chief, I forget the name of the pay per view, but it's the 26th. Are you going to be there attending that?
I am, yes. I have to send the message out to everyone and all that about what's because I'm going forward. I've Chris Killian is out of the Grayson Nation's scope. We don't need him in the scope range anymore. I've won. I've proven myself, so I'm going to be talking all about that. Either tonight or tomorrow, I'm going to be sending out a message saying how, and you can even hear this now, I'm ready to already go for Pro Wrestling Gold, Cheap Shots Wrestling Gold. I've already proven myself. I've been dominant since I came. I'm 1-1-0. I haven't lost. I think I deserve a chance to go for it, and I'm going to prove myself. In fact, I'm going to let people know of how confident the leader of the Grayson Nation is. I'm going to be issuing an open challenge to anyone in the locker room, anyone at all, whether they have gold, they don't, if they have a faction, they have a team. Grayson Nation is going to come in and we're going to dominate as we always do.
Love that. But now I do want to ask, who was your hardest opponent? Was it Chris Killian?
Chris Killian was definitely up there, but I feel like I'd have to look at it in such a specific way, because I could go by hardest as like pain in my rear end
Mm.
hardest. That could be many people. I've had Harley T. Morris. I've currently had Freak Show, Freaky Doyle of KSWA. They've been a nuisance to me over almost a whole year. Sinborn, he's been astronomical. Just you couldn't even make up a word for how to describe of how annoying he's been when it comes to being a hardest opponent, because we've back and forth it so many times. But if I have to like really cut it down to one specific unique person, man, I would probably have to go with Sinborn. Sinborn has definitely been the most durable, relenting pain in my neck for sure as of right now, but that could definitely change in the future.
Because I was gonna say he is the Pro Wrestling Cheap Shots champion. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
He just,
He is.
yeah. Could we see a Sinborn Tyler Grayson for the title?
I mean, we'd have to talk to, a certain representative commissioner and all of Pro Wrestling Cheap Shots management. We could see another rivalry brew up. I could definitely take that title and make it look a lot better than he can. But, time will tell, and I will respect whatever thing happens. And the right thing will happen, and that's what matters.
Exactly, dude. So now I do want to ask. I mean, how did your parents feel whenever you first told them that you wanted to be a wrestler?
Ah, man, I feel like, my mother, she was very supportive when she found out that like, I was actually starting it and that like she knew I liked wrestling, so she never like not support it. I do find it funny sometimes. She'll brag about me a lot and she'll like post things out of context. Like recently, me and a partner known as T Rantula, he's a very well-known wrestler. We dominated and beat Freaky Doyle and Manchild of the Freak Show. And I simply was just showing a sign that I may have lost the KSWA Golden Triangle Championship to Freaky Doyle, but we came out on top, and I held that belt over him, saying, I'm ready to take what's mine back. It's coming back to the Grayson Nation. And my mother gets hyped. She thought I won it that night while I was holding it, and she was bragging to everyone like, "Oh, he already got it back," and like that just shows the support, and I love all that.
Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome to hear. So
Yeah.
I do want to ask, what is the most like I would say like extreme move you've taken or like done to a person?
Most extreme I've taken. I mean,
Could be like
you
a
could go.
Frankensteiner, like a
I mean, I've taken a few of those. I've taken Canadian destroyers. I mean, if you want to go by like just overall dangerousness pile drivers, I've taken the good old fashioned pile driver that like a lot of people fear, but when you have the people that know what they're doing, like, and you just go with it, it's usually fine. So I could go there. I could go to the extreme of a more unique. I've taken a move where I'm being basically stretched out on the back and it's flipped over and turned into a power bomb after the one. It that move is in itself is just a torture rack, flipping me over into a power bomb slam. That stuff looks really cool and it does not feel the greatest, but that's the whole point. Like the moves, everything hurts and everything is more unique. And the more things I experience and I give to people, like I feel like the most dangerous thing I've given to someone, just because I'm just not as unique with it, or like I don't come off as more powerful than I actually am, is honestly my uniqueness with my DDTs. I come up with like 50 different ways to do DDTs off of the turnbuckle, in between the ropes, on the ropes, backwards, reverse, flipped over, around. And I feel like I've made a few other guys pretty dizzy with that stuff. And when they get spiked on the head, it's sometimes they probably feel like it's a lot harder than they are initially expecting.
I was gonna say, instead of a man of a thousand holds, you're the man with 50 types of DDTs.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I'm popping out two, three, four of them a match. It's a classic.
Exactly. Jake the Snake would be proud.
Oh, he would. That's the icon there. That was his thing.
So now I do want to ask, back to the pile driver thing. Would you take a pile driver from Jerry Lawler?
The king of absolutely. Absolutely. I would hope that we were on better terms. I hope I wasn't taking it from him, but
So let's take a step away from wrestling. Do you watch any other sports?
oh yeah, I watch football. I dabble in more college football, but then I'll be watching like the NBA and all that.
Hmm.
I like MMA also.
You see, I would talk about college football, but my team is not currently doing the best right now.
What's your team? What's your team?
I'm an Ohio Bobcats fan.
Oh, okay, okay.
My
Yeah,
two other co-hosts. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, you're good. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say my two other co-hosts. One is an Ohio State fan, and the other is a Alabama fan.
Oh, that sounds phenomenal.
They get a little heated sometimes.
That's how it works.
Exactly. What's your team?
My team, when it comes to college, I honestly, I like watching college just because of the astronomical numbers that they put on the board. Like I could say Alabama, I could go to the Texas teams. They're all insane to me because they be putting up like they be making the NFL run for their money a lot with these points that they be putting up 60, 70, 80 points shared between these two teams a game. And it's so hard to like pick from there. Now, I could go with the stereotypical Pittsburgh Steelers when it comes to NFL. I like them. I also will dabble in liking teams that are just like I like to root for the underdogs. So like sometimes I'm like, you know what? It's the Titans' year. It's gonna be the Titans' year. They're starting off terribly, but they're gonna fix it.
Yeah.
But like it's just fun for me. I can't ever settle on one team, but me being homebred of the Pittsburgh Steelers, I will only ever like dabble with them when like they make it to the playoffs. Otherwise, I really don't watch the NFL specifically, but I'll watch more of the college.
So I'm guessing you're a Mountaineers fan.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's kind of like, it's just you just have to be. I don't know a lot of people that are homebred and where they are and that you just don't like your teams, but I mean, I'll be like, okay, let's go. But, if eh, they don't win, they don't win.
So now, like, NBA wise, there's no team in West Virginia.
West Virginia.
Yeah, there is no team. So what would be your favorite NBA team?
I don't know about West Virginia.
No. I mean,
I would
I
say
meant like, what's your favorite NBA team? Because before you
NBA,
said
NBA.
that you like the Mountaineers because you're from West Virginia.
I'm from Pittsburgh.
Oh,
No, the Mountaineers are cool though. No, I'm Pittsburgh boy.
oh, so you're a Pitt Panthers fan.
Yeah, I know the Panthers. I know Pitt Panthers and yeah, like I support my home teams in that, but like if they're doing like real bad in a game, I'm gonna pretend that I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not from here. If they're
Not from
losing
here.
50, I'm not from here at that moment. If 53-4, like I'm not from Pittsburgh.
I was gonna say they're 6-0 if I'm wrong about. Oh no, that's Penn State.
I think they are. Yeah, they're having a good season so far.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
So
So
what
I'm
about
from
basketball,
Pittsburgh
like
for right
NBA
now.
wise? What's your favorite team?
Oh, that's a hard one. Honestly, I am very basic Lakers. I like the Lakers. Like
The Lakers
I've
are
just
awesome.
liked them. Yeah, I've liked them for a while, but then I'll go for Celtics sometimes. Like, well, I believe the Celtics won was it last year or 2 years ago? I was
Yeah, they
rooting
just
for
won
them.
this year.
Yeah, oh, it was this year. Okay, yeah. I was rooting for them during um that run
I won't
just
lie to you.
because,
I thought you were a Celtics fan because like your whole thing is green.
hey, yeah, I love green. I love it. It's my favorite color. Their green can be a little darker. I like most greens, but when you get to like the lighter greens, then I feel like they need to be a little darker. Um, but yeah, if you have a green, you're getting a +1 with me already. As long as it's not like, the puke color green where it's like a little yellowish, then like we'll be on good terms.
You're more of like a forest color, like green.
Oh, the forest, dark forest or like emerald green, like that stuff. Oh yeah, for sure.
So now I just thought about this. Back to wrestling. Your theme song, very catchy.
Thank you.
Because I was wa-
Yes, that.
I was watching your match that you have on YouTube. Like I was rewatching the Chris Killian match, and like
Hmm.
when that song came on, I was like, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it's an amazing song that I was gifted. I went to someone who is incredible with music. They've made a couple things for me that I have in reserves for whenever I plan on like changing it up or like just having a different song in general. But I feel like I'm gonna be holding on to this one for a long while. Um, it's me on the track in the very beginning, so I get to be a little bit of like musician in that when I wanted to be a vocalist, but I still want to be, but I know I just don't have the voice for it, even though I try to always practice in my car on the radio, but it's okay.
Okay. I could see it. I could see you becoming a singer after your whole wrestling career is done for.
Maybe could happen.
Do you have any other like matches coming up besides Pro Wrestling Cheap Shots?
Oh yeah, I got Mon Valley Pro this Sunday. It's gonna be a double book day for me. I got Cheap Shot Saturday, then I got Mon Valley Pro in Charleroi Sunday, and then I believe that's it for the month of October. Then I'm out to West Virginia. I know I got a KSWA event in December, and I might be hitting up 814 also in November. See if they need me to take anyone down a peg or two for them, but we'll see. We'll see.
Okay. So who was your trainer? Who trained you?
I I
Oh,
was trained by Lou Martin and Sean Blanchard of KSWA. They got me into it. I simply harassed them about how I wanted to be trained, get into the business and all that. And they, after being constantly harassed, they were just like, okay, we'll take you in. And they taught me all the basics, everything that you need to have to start, and then I continued training. In this type of industry, the training never stops. You could be in this doing this for 20 years and you're still training. I went to MVP Mon Valley Pro Wrestling. I got to work with J. Rue and Sinborn. They helped refine me a lot, helped me figure out more about myself when we were in the training rings and that's basically how I developed what I have so far. And I'm still changing it to find what fits me, what fits what I want to give to everyone that's in the audience and to tell the story.
so now I'm kind of curious. Whenever you took your first bump, were you like, "Oh, this might not be for me"?
Oh, absolutely not. When I took my first bump, I was like, okay, this is gonna be a challenge, but I'm prepared. It's like the same way when I did sports in high school, like when I took my first hit, when I felt that first muscle pull, like it's like, okay, this is to be expected. I go in there knowing this stuff is going to happen, so when it happens, it doesn't feel as bad, and it's almost like almost an addiction to being able to do this stuff because I can do it now. Like a lot of guys when they're older and they're still living this dream of being able to perform and have the same, if not more, dedication than I do, but they can't do as much. They're still gonna show out, and I want to do that until I can't anymore.
So now, like, what is your dream arena to go, like, to wrestle in? Like Madison Square Garden, like,
Oh man, Madison Square Garden for sure. Like that is like top pinnacle of like arenas. That's probably the one I've seen most of like recorded matches of, and like uh that would be a very like out of body experience, but I know I would enjoy it.
or even like the Tokyo Dome?
Oh, Tokyo Dome for sure, absolutely. I'd fly over there. Absolutely. I'd take a chance at that. Any ring I step into, I just enjoy it. I
Tyler
enjoy
Grayson in the
it.
G1 Climax?
Oh, you know it.
Dude,
That
I
would that
would
would
pay to see that.
that'd be an ultimate crossover for me for sure.
So now, like, let's go over to Japan. How do you feel about the fans in Japan, like wrestling wise? Like, cause I've heard many stories of like they're very respectful. Like anytime like someone gets out of a hold, they clap.
Oh yeah, there it's like over there, like I obviously personally just haven't had the opportunity yet. But I know the stories. I've seen how they are. They are respectable is like such an understatement for them. That is that's a religion for them over there. It's a more than just a entertainment. It's a sport in itself that is just like past anything. Like this is like the goal for them. Like they're over there, they get into it. You can they just understand so much. It's not like over here and like as much as I love my the audience over here, like these people after the whole like, kayfabe stuff, people have like determined like you even have kids out there that like you have to make them believe this stuff and the audience over there I feel like they just are so respectful for what we're trying to put out and that's what makes it so great over there. I know people who've gone over there and they say it's a lot different and they make it a surreal
So
interaction.
now I do want to ask you, what like if someone were to like walk up to you and say, "Why do you do it? Wrestling is fake." What do you say to people like that?
I'd tell them, John Wick ain't real either. Like people, they go to these movies and they talk about their favorite characters. They watch animes. I love watching animes, and I know this stuff ain't real, but I'm going to watch it like it is. It's entertainment, and
Exactly.
what people don't understand is it it's choreographed to a certain extent. There are guys and women out there that go out there and don't choreograph this stuff. And guess what? Our injuries are real. Like it healed up pretty good, but I got a gnarly shiner and a busted face open. That was my blood. Like this it I find it almost like hilarious on the end of these people that want to just take the fun out of it. Like Santa Claus ain't real either, but we teach kids that he is because it's something for them to be hopeful towards and it's enjoyment like I never understood the whole like okay your point is exactly like
Exactly.
you take a chop and tell me that that was fake like
Or
there's so
even like
many
just like
out
take a super kick, dude. Like
exactly. I get blamed for a lot of people's teeth getting kicked out when I'm not even in their match, mostly at MVP because they think it's funny to blame Grayson.
but like that's the point, dude. Like it's like people like to say wrestling isn't real, but then like okay, take a chop. Take a chop from Gunther.
Oh, God. Oh, oh man, come. Let's start small. Start small.
But
Yeah,
I was
these
gonna say,
these.
do you remember? I forget who it was, but they were on was it Andre who was on a news show and like the reporter said like wrestling's fake and he like actually choked him out.
I might have been. I know Vader had an interview also where
It was Vader. It was Vader.
yeah, he was with the Undertaker, and they were interviewing, asking about that stuff, and the stuff is real. I mean, I just don't understand what people are trying to gain from saying this stuff isn't real. Like we're more real than some of your like actors do. Like they got stunt doubles. We're doing all this stuff ourselves.
So there was a report that I saw, and it was someone I forget who it was. Someone said that wrestlers would be better stuntmen than stuntmen like who actually do stunts.
Oh yeah, because most of the stuff we do, the stuntmen are gonna be like, no, I'm not doing that. Or where's my safety net? Or where's my safety garments? Like, there's people like I haven't been in it yet, but there's been flaming tables on fire and people are just bit and thrown through them. Like, we don't have a fireproof suit. Like, we just gotta hope that we don't catch fire, and then we have staff on the side that yeah might help us. Keyword might. Like you can't plan for this stuff. Like we go out there thinking we know what's going to happen, but then someone's leg could get broken.
Someone
Like
could just tear
someone's
their ACL after jumping off the top rope.
exactly. You never know what's going to happen when it comes to injury stuff. Like, and all these movie producers and play, they plan for everything. We can only plan for hopefully what we're expecting.
Yeah. I mean, because I have all the respect to you and every wrestler who does this, dude, because I couldn't.
Nah, you could definitely listen. You ever want to, take your shot? I'll give you an opportunity. All right, I'll make it super fair for you, man. I think you can. Everyone, anyone with two fists has a fighting chance.
I was gonna say
Like
you say that, then you just straight clock me in the face.
I'm like, hey, man, good job. No, but no, I grew up even when like we were mentioning about sports and how I like root for the underdog. I never believed in the ideology like smaller people like me or like you, like who aren't 350 pounds of pure muscle or are just that weight of height can't do this stuff. Like anyone can do it, anyone, and I feel like I'm a prime example of it. Like as much people say like, oh, Grayson, you're doing good, or Grayson, you're just phenomenal, you're reaching new heights. I'm not anyone really special. I just did the work. Anyone who's willing to do the work, you can reach to where I am or further beyond.
I mean, like, see, you say that, but like your character, like at shows, like it's so entertaining. Like, even like when like at the shows that I've been to where you've been there, the kids go crazy, and I love
Yeah,
that.
I love it too. It's good. I have a 5-year-old mind, I guess, and they just relate to me. They see some dude being stupid, and they're just like, you know what? I like him. I liked him. I like him jumping around and just yelling random things that rhyme with Grayson, and they just go with it.
But so you mentioned earlier, you just said that you liked anime.
Yeah.
So what kind of anime do you watch?
Oh man, I love the comedy anime. Anything that's like almost awkward humor. It just it's because I just when I get into shows, I really like just like imagining if I was in these situations and like how I'd just be like so like thrown off and just like paused in the moment. Like one I really liked was No Game No Life because it was just a short little 12 episode anime about these two gamers who are siblings. They just go into an alternate universe where video games is how you live your life and like it's just the side stuff. You play games to like succeed in life. And like just imagining living in these alternate realities, how like one would react. I also like, like Dragon Ball Z, top
Oh,
tier.
don't even
Oh,
get me started on Dragon
oh
Ball.
man. That
I love
grew up
Dragon Ball.
watching that, and that really got me into like I listen to like a lot of like Vegeta like statements because it's so motivating, especially when I do like my workouts and that. I love listening to like it just almost feels like so many characters that don't exist are more motivational than a lot of people that do.
Yeah. So have you seen Dragon Ball Daima yet?
I have not. I've heard about it though, but I've heard some mixed reviews, but like I need to sit down and watch it myself.
No, I agree on that. I haven't watched it yet either, but I do want to see the first three episodes. I am in
Yeah,
a
I'm curious because unfortunately, this is, I believe, being written by someone completely new because Akira Toriyama is no longer with us. So
no. So thankfully, this was Akira Toriyama's last project that he worked on.
really, oh, good. I assumed someone else was taking it over.
No, but so Toyotaru is gonna take over the manga from now on.
Okay, he's taking over the manga. Got it.
But Dragon Ball Daima was written and produced by Toriyama, so
Oh man.
that is why
Oh,
I'm so
that's
excited to
good to
watch
hear.
it.
I'm a little more excited now too. Now that I know that I had my doubts when people were telling me that what they were thinking because I guess they also assumed that it wasn't going to be him. But now that I know that information, a little more positive towards it.
I was gonna say after this interview, you're just gonna be like, all right, time to get
Uh,
Crunchyroll.
all right, let's see this real quick.
uh,
Yeah, no, I'll be excited for the new 13 forms they give Goku for sure. Um,
but I was gonna say, what is your favorite like series of Dragon Ball? There's Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, GT, Super.
I loved them all. And I had such a special Dragon Ball Z. I even seen Dragon Ball. Like a lot of people forget about Dragon Ball being before Dragon Ball Z. And I've seen that and I loved it. It was like it's the stories are just hilarious, even though some people didn't like certain episodes or like certain characters. I don't care. I thought it was great. Dragon Ball Z definitely has to be number one just because of the stories. The Frieza arc, the Cell arc, the Majin Buu arc. Super was really good. I had my doubts about it at first, but then it became phenomenal and I loved it. GT has a special place in my heart, even though a lot of people really don't like GT.
GT wasn't as
I
bad as people say it is. That's a hot take, but
no,
like,
it wasn't. Definitely, they had their bad moments that just did not fit, but I was with it. I liked it. Someone else wrote it with the help of a Toyama. He was just helping, but it wasn't his
it wasn't
project. That's
his work of art.
yeah, it wasn't yeah, it wasn't his stuff, and that's what most people are saying. And then you have all the anime like critiquers saying it's not canon, it's canon, and you get these people, and it just goes back to that whole thing about people who say wrestling's fake. Just enjoy it. Like why are you
Exactly,
trying to
dude.
like who cares? It was fun. It introduced things that were never going to be introduced before, like the Super Saiyan 4. That's only been in GT. Like, and then we got a Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Like, we haven't seen a super form other than Super Vegito at the time. Like, it was unique. It brought on a new thing. The stories were very interesting. Like, I was a fan of the baby arc. I liked the villain
Exactly.
baby. Like, I binge watched that entire arc just because I couldn't like stop watching it.
Gosh, now you got me in the mood to watch Dragon Ball. That's what I'm gonna do when I get home.
Right there you go.
But like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the Omega Shenron arc, it wasn't as bad as people said it was.
It wasn't. It did it like drag on. Yeah, but so does any episode of Dragon Ball. Like the stories usually drag on. I was shocked Super wasn't longer than it was. It was only a 2 arc series.
And and I mean, like, that's the whole thing though. Like, people say that like Dragon Ball gets too long, like their fights, but then Goku and Frieza, like that was what
Oh
15
man.
episodes.
I'm pretty sure one whole episode was just Goku powering up.
Exactly. But like that's what people don't understand. They
like
enjoyed that
I
though.
it's just how it works, and it's telling a story from 30 different characters.
Exactly. There's just I just hope that this new show is gonna it's gonna live up to what Akira Toriyama wanted.
Absolutely. And I'll obviously be one of those people because you have those people that need to say it. I'm going to say it, and it's probably not going to happen. Whatever this turns into, it should be the last. But it's not going to be because it's so popular. And I understand that like they're going to try to keep making stuff. You don't want to let this all like the I don't believe Toriyama would want it to die with him. I just feel like once you get to a point where like the brains of it like is no longer a part of it, that's where you've seen a lot of things like get destroyed because you get other people who take it over. They don't know what they're doing. They make a mockery of it, and now you have to either fix it or you have to let it die on something that should have never existed. And that's what happens. It's just like those prequels to movies or sequels to movies that no one asked for. My favorite Disney movie was Fox and the Hound. Fox and the Hound 2 I wish was never made. I wish it never was.
I mean, that's the same thing with the Star Wars sequels.
I'm not a big fan of him either.
I don't blame you. I mean, George Lucas, I mean, his original script for that was way better than what they actually put on.
Yeah, it's like, like, and at the end of the day, it's business, and business, they need to make money, and they're going to do what they think is cool. But you look at the quality, and it's like, well, now you're just having people turn on you. You think like, oh, everyone likes it. Like, sure, the characters, have your opinion on them. Not really a fan of the newest Skywalker that she claims that she is, but like I don't. Yeah, and then the whole story of like how yeah, spoiler alert, Palpatine doesn't get killed by Darth Vader. He's actually still alive, and he like, wasn't it like he inhabited a clone or
Yeah,
something, like his spirit? And I'm like, what?
doesn't make
Like,
sense.
what? No. Like, since when can we do that? Is that like a thing? Okay. And I mean, if you want to make all that stuff up, okay, but like, no, it's silly. Just make a new villain. Like,
Exactly.
like,
But Tyler, do you have any questions for me?
oh, I mean, like, yeah, I got a couple. So,
Okay.
who's your favorite current wrestler?
Oh, so my favorite current wrestler. This is gonna be a hot take. I like Solo Sikoa.
Oh, okay.
So the reason for that is he went from a character that didn't talk and like just was just a mindless like pawn in Roman Reigns' plan to going to like the leader of the bloodline and having to talk every Friday night.
No, yeah, absolutely. I agree. That storyline is very interesting.
I would argue that it's better than the Judgment Day storyline.
Oh, yeah, you can definitely argue that. I see the point in that for sure. Like, it just, I just hate how social media is, and the internet, because I feel like there's already been call outs to like how this story goes. People saw this stuff happening months, if not a whole year before. Like, it sucks because like I remember back in the day when you had random appearances from The Rock just showing up at a normal episode of SmackDown or something, and like everyone was shocked because no one saw it coming. And now like places have to like hide storylines. They have to like really hold tight, and if they can't and it gets out there, they're like, well, now we can't change it because like we have nothing to change it. And it's like everyone knew this was going to happen. Like when Solo went and he became the tribal chief, everyone knew Roman was going to come back and go against him, and then he was going to get his old bloodline back. And everyone's just been calling it straight down the middle, and that just really sucks because I know as much as people like to knock on like the writers, the WWE writers, or even AEW writers, they don't have writers, but like, and you everyone calls it, and it's like you make it so obvious, and it just sucks because people put work into it, but there's always someone that ruins it, or like it's just so
There's always a
predictable.
spoiler.
There's a spoiler, then they put it in themselves. Like sometimes they'll be too obvious with like how they talk, and you just like they'll reference a wrestler, and like people are so into the story and know everything, they'll just be like, oh, that guy's coming back for this. Okay, I'll see that in 2 months. Like it just sucks because I remember growing up watching with the shock factor, and just that's what I feel like a lot of people miss is the surprise, the holy moments. Like
Yeah. I mean,
it's
you
like
could say that about like whenever CM Punk returned. Like everyone was saying, "Oh, CM Punk's in Chicago." Like or like with the Motor City Machine Guns, they've been talking about signing with WWE for months, and then like they just debuted.
exactly, and it's like you can only do so much. Like I love watching reactions to wrestling, and like I'll watch streamers or YouTubers, and like what is, if you want to even use the CM Punk moment, like people like already knew before the event start. They're like, oh, there's talk of CM Punk. CM Punk's coming back, and then they had to do what they could with it. And what did they do? They made it to where
They waited till
they hit
off the air.
they that and they simply hit CM Punk so hard that they had to hide him from like because there's an interview out there where CM Punk tells you how he got into the building and like how they were like shutting down hallways. They were holding it tight. They had to take all these 30 million extra steps just so he could do a surprise appearance, and they couldn't let it out in any way. But guess what? It was already out. People already assumed because people knew he was in the town. Like, and it's just like his hometown. You do the thing. People waited. They were like, "Oh no, it's not gonna happen." The best thing to do was to do it off, like close to the end of the show, like you said, off the air. That's what they had to do because maybe they wanted to do something different, but they couldn't because
It's just social media, and it's sad,
social
honestly.
media's, and that's why I love the indies, and I love how I'm able to do a lot with that and get to play around with that stuff. When it comes to like new ideas, bringing in new moves, going up against new people don't expect that, and I feel like I would be very frustrated, as I would love, obviously the dream is to, get up to WWE, get up to AEW, have those opportunities, get into IWC, like
TNA, stuff like
T-
that.
TNA, all of them. Just have my shine in that, and like just give what I can to the business and the world, and just have my 15 minutes that I'd like to turn into 10 years if the opportunity is given to me, and work with how it has to work with that stuff. And it's just, I hope times change if those opportunities are presented, or like I'm able to still figure out a way to like make it unique, because it's just I want to give the experience to those kids that the same experience was given to me back when I was watching.
Exactly, dude. Because at the end of the day, that's all it's about is like making the kids happy.
Absolutely.
All right, brother. I will not take any more of your time.
Alrighty.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. I do appreciate it so very much.
Anytime, absolutely. You hit me up when you need to ask anything. I'll come back.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much, and I will see you later.
Absolutely.